Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ed 505, Cultural Foundations of Education. I am Professor Moore, also known as Carl. I'm fine with either titles. Not important to me. What's important is that we have a great semester and that there is a lot of distance traveled as far as learning is concerned here. I'm very accessible by email right here. I'll answer usually within an hour or so because it's patched into my good old smart device and I my office hours are going to be Wednesday nights, but I didn't post them on here because I wasn't sure at the time of creating the syllabus. So, I want to overview the course briefly. I am very trusting that you all can read through the syllabus, but I want to highlight key areas and then I want to go over the assignments. Quick note, everyone should have received my email about Edmodo. Please sign on as soon as possible because we're going to be doing all of our course work in Edmodo, and if you have not signed up, we cannot move forward. And I'll be doing all of my updates on Edmodo, and you'll miss it. So please, weekly Edmodo is what you want to be on, and do not go to Blackboard. There were some students last semester that were behind because they were just going on Blackboard, and I don't post on Blackboard. I post on Edmodo. So, overview of the course. You all can read this, but in essence, at the end of this course, the learning outcome, the most important learning outcome is that you all will have a very much a refracted lens in terms of how you can view the difference between teachers, student backgrounds, and institutions, and how they create learning environments. You'll have a critical lens to look through. You'll also be able to see how the aspects of identity are framed and understood by teachers and parents and administrators. So I want to broaden your awareness and use this cool, this course as a tool to do so. So we want to be culturally responsive teachers. We understand that students feel empowered when they're in an inclusive classroom setting, and you're going to be as inclusive as you are aware of who you are. So that's why we go deep into who we are with the autoethnography assignments, etc. And then we use the tools from the readings to actually examine spaces and like your institutional observations, etc. So you actually can have this theory to practice right away. Because some of you, if not all, will be as a high-ranking administrator in an educational institution, you'll be able to make decisions informed by your cultural competence. So the more culturally competent the administrators are, the less those students that are in the margins or culturally diverse or shortened. Because even if we were all green, there are culturally sensitive issues that we need to deal with that involve even things as simple as varying learning styles. And I want us to all have that kind of understanding going into this course. So, working from the perspective that teachers teach who we are means that who you are and what views you hold as an individual affect what you choose to teach and how you relate with students throughout the semester. So I will urge you to engage in a process of critically analyzing yourself in terms of your views, etc. So always do that and analyze the authors that you're reading so that you can really have a newer, deeper understanding of these issues. So the required text right here, as you can see, both of them are required. It's affirming diversity. And the Beverly Tatum book, Why Are the Black Kids Sitting Together? Please note, this book is just not about black kids and why they're sitting together. It serves as a point of departure for us to understand the social issues in the K through in the educational arena. So I think at first glance some people might think, wow, we're reading about black kids. She uses that as a point of departure. It's far deeper than that, and you all will see soon. So please erase that if that's one of your preconceptions of the book. It's a really awesome book. It's one of my favorites, and that's why I incorporated it here. So first, the course requirements. There are three main requirements, right here. Requirement number one is cyber presence and participation. You can read this in a little bit more in depth at your own leisure, but what I really want you to do is I want you to interact ad nauseum, over there should be an excessive amount of interaction because in a classroom environment, raising your hand here and there might be fine, but you're also communicating with nonverbals, etc. In a cyber environment, if you aren't stating anything, if you're not, posting anything, you're not participating because there's no way of us to know what you're thinking when you're at home. So it's really important to get into that mindset. Like whatever you're thinking, just say as you're kind of responding to the readings, or if you have a thought about something, you can post it onto our wall and Edmodo, etc. Because this is the only way that we can kind of recreate that kind of atmosphere online. So it's really important for you to have that. And I'm going to be judging your participation grade on your post and how many posts you have. I'm not going to be, being very meticulous about it, but if you've been responding to your peers posts in your group, etc. So the expectation is that weekly, you're posting your responses to the readings, and then you're also responding to the posts that your classmates have. Not just I'm going to put one response a week, but kind of like, oh, tell me more about that, or I feel this way, or I do not feel this way about that, etc. So, and that leads into the um, contributions of a safe space. So, in having discussions, because it's very discussion oriented, we want to understand that I would like a dialogue here of sorts rather than a debate or just a discussion. So there's a difference between those three. So a debate is where you have one opinion that is positive, could be more correct than another, and it's your goal to have people take your side or argue a side. We're not doing that. A discussion can kind of lead in one direction or other, and sometimes even turn into a debate. We're not having that. Whereas a dialogue is where it's kind of like conversation soup, where everyone's throwing in their ideas, their point of views, and their perspectives into a pot, and we're creating a collective consciousness that when we're done with this discussion, well, I'm sorry, dialogue, we will all be more informed of everyone's opinions and still maintain our own. Now, I'm not saying you can't grow from that, but it's really important to understand that a safe space is a dialogue. Now, the more you challenge yourself to really express your true opinions, etc., the better and the more you will grow. You have permission to do it for me. Please don't try to be very, too PC that you are limiting the educational process. And feel free to challenge each other as well. You can challenge and ask questions like, why do you think like that? That's a good question. Or what informs your thinking on this? Because I think like this. That's better than saying you are an idiot or your opinion is like short-minded or something of that sort. So lastly, requirement number 3, critical engagement with the readings and course material. So I want you all to critically engage with the course material. And for this area, I added these because I think it was really important to have something in writing. I don't want to really shape how you're thinking about the course materials, but this helps. So what is the author saying? Do you agree or not? On what grounds? What are the implications in the classroom? How does this relate to the readings in the course that you've read before? How does the material relate to your experience in education? Please use these questions as a way to frame your reading. So when you read, you might think, wow, this is a huge document. How am I supposed to go into this document and come out with a greater understanding? If you kind of like copy these down or have them beside you, you'll be fine. You're pretty much looking at, you want this to be your outcome. Also, while you're reading the material, you want to look at the author's main point. What are they really asserting? What's their thesis or their argument? What problem do you think they're addressing with this article? And then what do you think their conclusion is? Just very simple as that, what their thesis is, what problem you think they're addressing, and what their conclusion is. That's kind of like as we all know, the three main pillars of any intellectual document or article, where you're going to be looking at that. So that can also help you in understanding how to filter through these articles. So if you're reading through and you have those, you can kind of write those down and then use this even further to help you understand what the article is saying. So on to the assignments. I'm going to try to cover these in 5 minutes. If I don't, please forgive me. So, let's see here. You have a cultural autoethnography analysis. This is a two-part assignment, and I really want you to really dig deep into who you are and describe yourself as a member of a culture group 1 or 2. You actually can do more than 2, but at least 1 or 2, and illustrate how this membership has contributed to the person you are now. I'll post samples for you. And then you're going to use the analysis of your autoethnography to identify themes. So the readings that you're going to have are going to help you shape your thoughts, and you're going to say, wow, looking at my part 1, I can say that these are the themes I can draw and form by the literature. So in the examples that I post for you, it'll make a little bit more sense, but this is your way to really discover who you are. When I first did an autoethnography assignment in grad school, it just changed my life because I had never thought of myself in that way. You're going to have an institutional observation, where in essence what you're going to do is you're going to look at an institution, a setting, with the lens informed by the readings from this course, and it's really going to help you shape your mind in a different way in terms of looking at these environments through a new lens. And as you can see, all the details for the assignment are right here. Please email if you have any questions with that. You're going to be doing a literature circle presentation. These literature circle book presentations will be within your groups, the groups that you are in for your discussion. So it's really important for you all to sign up for Edmodo so you can start even talking about this. So let me pause for a moment. You have the weekly readings that you're going to be talking about with your group, which you'll know who they are on Edmodo when everyone signs up, and then you're going to have a literature circle presentation where your group is to also discuss a book that you pick outside of the weekly readings. I'm not telling you what the book has to be about, but I would love for it to be a social justice oriented book and have to do with K through 12 or higher ed. Any book, any read. This is kind of like free for you all. Please have a representative from your group email me what book you've chosen so I could kind of like give you some feedback. And I'd like those chosen pretty soon, but you'll get more details about that via email. So you're going to review and critique the curriculum or lesson plan of an educational institution, a classroom that you're going to choose. So you're going to evaluate the critique from a multicultural lens and create an alternative text that articulates your ideal multicultural lesson. I have examples for you of this as well. You're going to actually reflect on the gatekeepers, those individuals that actually would let you in. It might be the school secretary or the principal or what have you, and there'll be more information to come with that. And then the final reflection statement is going to pretty much combine all that you have done with what you're moving forward to do in the future. It's not necessarily a summary or review of the readings, but it must of course directly connect to the course topics. And we'll be discussing all these in more depth as they come. So, as you can see right here, the preferences, double space, 12-point font, 1-inch margins, and you're going to be graded on class participation, the cultural ethnography, institution observations, literature circle, curriculum presentations, gatekeeper letters, final reflection statement. And that's pretty much it, and you'll be able to see your grades as we go. This free post, I'm expecting that everyone post at one point during the semester some kind of article or some reading for us to think critically about on Edmodo for the whole group, so you can post it on the class wall. And that's pretty much it. If you have any more questions with that, you can feel free to contact me. So, as you can see, week 1, that's what we're in right now. Read the syllabus and ask questions. Week 2, you have these readings and choosing books for your lit circles. Your lit circle folks will be in your group, so you already know who they are. I'm not going to give you individuals outside of your group. You're going to have to just work with the folks that you're with. And then the last names are the articles or the authors who have the readings. And every week, whatever is posted here, it's due that you should have read that by this date. So it's always like, a week in advance like that. And yeah, feel free to ask me any questions. This video is coming to a close. I don't want to make it too long. I wanted to stick to 15 minutes, and I'm excited to have you all. Please note that the final week we're going to just be doing presentations online, and I'll discuss that more later.